Okay, folks, welcome back. And yeah, we cleaned up our area this morning. This area is all clean. You can't tell because there's a ton of stuff on here. But we sorted all of our parts. Um, we did some damage on the couch, so should be able to finish that up. Okay. And so the plan is to finish these two Panzer IVs, two Panzer IV-Ds from Armorfast, and we're going to add some details to them to make them look a little bit more enhanced, a little bit more interesting. And I went through all of my spare parts, and we'll get to that in a second once we build the other one. But one of the things I wanted to test out is I had this brass rod that I accidentally bought a long time ago, and we made a little deflector for the gun. It's not exactly the correct shape, but it gives the impression of it correctly. So anyhow, we're going to add all those details and make these things look a little bit more lived in, so to speak. So we're going to set the complete one off to the side. We're going to finish this one, get that one to the same level, and then we will move forward with both of them. So let's move this stuff out of the way that I needed to see exactly what it was that I had. And you have a little bit left to do on this Panzer IV. And we'll see who shows up. Jared, welcome back. Noticed in the unboxing video that it looked like there were 4 excess wheels. Where do they belong? I'll show you later. They don't say. They're not in on the instructions at all. These instructions pretty much suck. So we're going to get this one done to the same level the other one is. And, you know, I went through extra parts. I got some fire extinguishers. I've got 2 jacks. I got a couple of no-tech lights I found. So those things are alone. I don't have as many shovels and axes as I thought I did. I don't have a gun cleaning kit. But what I'm going to do is we're going to finish these as much as we can. And then we're going to do the Hummel and the Bumbar. And those are all Panzer IV based tanks. And there might be extra parts in them as well that we can supplement these. So we're not going to paint these up until some of those other Panzer IV based kits that I have, I open them up, and then maybe we can really go whole hog on this thing. So, but it's looking pretty good. Let's put it that way. That sneeze attack came out of nowhere. We'll do what we couldn't do the other day because we're drilling this out. Gluing the 2 parts together, we're just going to drill out so it looks like the exhaust there. And same thing with this one. Yeah, after this morning session, I actually had to go sit down and I had to go take a nap. I slept for another 2 hours. Just really weird that I was having trouble sleeping. It's not like this stuff is that exciting or anything. Okay, that'll work. I'm gonna put a little bit of. All right, we're gonna glue this thing down. This thing's off a little bit of an angle. I have a I have a special place. I have a special. What am I trying to say? I have a soft spot. There we go, for this for this vehicle. There's the rain. I welcome the rain. Just no lightning, please. I have a soft spot for this vehicle because I did build it 1/35th scale. And many, many years ago. And I remember it was a pretty good kit. Old Tamiya kit. And I would have finished this one this morning if I wasn't like exhausted. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the headlights. Benjamin Christensen, welcome back. Yeah, there's no carrier or anything for the Panzer IV spare wheels, and I've seen some that are attached here. I've seen some attached like a little mount. I've seen some attached in a little box. I'm gonna see what I can have that I can make. I don't need to put them on both. I would like both of them to be different. I didn't find a source for the tow hooks at the front. So I'm not going to give up yet. I mean, I've got some other Panzer IVs that are coming that they may have them on there. If not, you know, I don't. I would just hate to paint it and then go, oh, here, I have tow hooks for it. Oh, damn it, you know. What scale? 1/72nd. 1/72nd scale. Like somebody said on the miniatures page, the one true scale. I haven't been on that place in a long time. That used to be the first thing I used to do in the mornings. I'd get on the miniatures page. And I pretty much stopped that about 2005. I stopped going to that place once they started having all these message groups about like food and politics. Like, I don't want to talk about politics with people. I don't want to talk about politics with people that I agree with on politics. Much less just random people. Just don't like the stubby guns. It makes it look less like a real tank to me, if you understand what I mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. It doesn't bother me so much. I see what you're getting at. I don't like these turrets without the storage thing in the back. It looks dumb. You know, the thing with the stubby gun is that if you're going to do some Panzer IVs in 1941, they're going to have the stubby guns. And I do like how the F2 and the G look better. The G is a good-looking vehicle. All right, I got to blow my nose. Try not to get excited. The G is a good-looking vehicle. Even the round, the early pattern Panzer IV Special is the bulbous one. Looks a little weird, but yeah, I know what you mean about the stubby guns. One thing I won't do like a J. I know in 1942 there were some German tanks that went into in case Blau that used a sand colored camo. I'm not doing any sand colored camo unless, before I have to. I prefer my Germans in gray. You know, even if I was building this thing for the Africa Corps, I'd paint it gray and then just weather the living shit out of it in sand colors. The one true scale is 1:1. If you can't do Napoleonics and 1:1, why are you even in the hobby? And they need to be of the right demographics. None of this using like masses of Russians to play Frenchmen. That's crap. The Panzer IV looks great with a KWK-47. All right, now you're going full nerd burglar. I don't know the KWK numbers. Oh, you mean the 43 or the 48? KWK 47. Oh, that didn't work. Let's see, the 37 is this one. I'm not sure what the KWK-47 is. The Pac 40 is apparently a KWK-40. Yeah, I don't know that KWK number. Sorry. That's why I don't do France. Because none of these tanks didn't have the storage thing in the back, and they just look dumb. I have a pair of Panzer III Fs, unfortunately, that do not have it, and they just look dumb. You know. It just looks wrong. I know they used them that way. It just rubs me the wrong way. I could just use these guys for France and just say, oh, well, you know, they just look better. KWK-40, yeah. Yeah, and the one before it, the 43 caliber one with the muzzle brake. Yeah, it looks good with the muzzle brake. By the way, let's see, is this thing off center? Ever so slightly. This turret is actually not in the center. It's supposed to be off to this side a little bit. And it looks like it just barely is. Okay, where do we go next? Gosh, I love this plastic. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that would have liked this plastic? This one's going to have the hatches closed. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about the longer gun is that they start going in yellow, and I prefer my Germans in gray. There's a small period where you could get away with a G with that muzzle brake and still use it in gray and not be snow, although it looks good in snow. And I'm a fan of the Wintergewitter battles. But at some point I'll have some snow vehicles, but that's a way off. I don't have any snow infantry and, you know, slippery slope. I have a habit of calling guns by the way that Frank Chadwick calls them in Command Decision, which is literally by their caliber length. And it's like, I've got that built into me. Like, this is a 75 L24. The F2 is the 43, and early G's had a 43. Then the Pac 40 is a 46. The gun that's in the H and the J is a 48. The Panthers is 70. I got that like built into me from many, many years ago playing Command Decision. That's one thing that I liked about his game is that you use real world terms. Not like, okay, this isn't an A class armor. Like, you're not learning anything. Even advanced squad leaders, close. The numbers are really close to centimeters of armor. All right, let's get really careful with this. We don't want to cut this thing off. And the nice thing is we just have to follow the examples of the one that I built yesterday. So I don't have to consult photos or none of that stuff. Kind of nice. So I did find my Panzer IV book that I couldn't find. You know where it was? It was the bookshelf, right? I just looked over it. That's the problem with this room is it doesn't have great lighting over there, so. But there's a lot of field modifications that they added to these tanks. So there's some that have a shovel in a non-standard place, that kind of thing. So we're going to make both of these different. We might even drape one of those crooked spider flags over the back of the of one of them. Not permanent, because I don't want to, you know, violate the sensors, the automatic sensors. People will freak out and then have problems with this channel. But it does add a pop of color, even though they're rat bastards. I think one thing I'm going to do is the sprue that's left over of this, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to keep this sprue because this plastic is amazing. It's really easy to work with. And if I need to build something out of it, I want to use this plastic. Because you can like glue it and then like trim it after it's already glued because it like, it's just, I don't know. I went from this is going to suck to this shit's amazing. So we got some tricks up our sleeve. We got some tricks up our sleeve, and now my goal is to make this thing look fabulous. I said I would have loved to get the M10 tank destroyers and give these the same treatment, but I don't want to be manufacturing breaches, you know. And the original model M10 tank destroyer for Armor Fast did not have a breach on it, and they re-released it with the breach, but it's the same code number. So when you order it, you don't know which one you're going to get unless you're in a store and you go, hold on a second, let me open up here, pull it out, it has no breach. I don't want to buy this one kind of thing. I don't want to manufacture a breach out of nowhere. So I will be right back. 2 packs of the M10 Tankosaurus with this order because they were really inexpensive. I mean, they were like $11 for 2 of them. I don't know why. They had all kinds of wonky pricing on stuff. All right. Let's go ahead and take this turret off. All right, this little piece goes right up against the edge. And how can you ban that but not Soviet or Communist Chinese symbols at will? Don't get me started. I totally agree with you. I don't like any of those assholes. But if it was on the tank, you know, like I don't mind putting, you know, pro-Soviet stuff on my Russian tanks, but I'm not going to put pro-Stalin stuff. He was a dickhead. I don't like short dictators with mustaches. I just have a problem with them. He's not going to be. I don't put any pro-Stalin stuff. I don't have pro-Hitler things on my things. You know. I used to build all the models. I got a whole pack of swastikas that I ordered from way back when I was doing, you know, model tanks, model aircraft, and they would include a swastika on the back. I put them on there. I don't want to take pictures of them, put them online, because it's not even people complaining about it. There's just automatic stuff on YouTube that you got problems with. And it's not negotiable. It's like it's just automatically done. Like it looks for crooked spiders and things like that. I'm glad it doesn't make any sense to you either. I'm sure that nonsense goes on in Australia. If I remember correctly, that's where you're at. I think you're Australia, not New Zealand. Mr. Ben, welcome back. Okay, now on to the turret. Actually, yeah, we'll put the hatches on it last to make sure anything gets handled. We don't have to handle those guys. This guy goes here. These tweezers are wonderful. These in particular, I don't even know where I picked them up. They might have been my dad's from many, many, many moons ago. Okay. A little towards the top. Flip to the other side. So I don't see a 14-year-old making this correctly. I've actually saw a model that somebody had. I don't know if it was an armor fast Panzer IV, but the hatches were freaking like at an angle and everything. They were just like, just a disaster. Okay, that's cool. Whee! Okay. Let's check for fit before we drop these in here. That's just how it's going to sit on there. Did you see that guy on Facebook the other day? He recast half of Perry Miniature's sprue because he thought the spare parts entitled him to make copies of the sprue so he didn't waste his money. You know, no, I didn't. I never have any morality conflicts of morality. Doesn't matter whether it's right or not. I don't have any conflicts of morality. I'm pretty comfortable with the decisions I make. What did he do? He recast half of a Perry's miniature sprue. Thought the spare parts entitled him to make copies of the sprue so he didn't waste his money. I think if you buy the sprue and you're making copies for yourself and you don't tell anybody, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I'm not going to do it. That's a shitload more work than actually just buying another sprue. If you start selling it, I have a problem with that. On eBay, there's a seller, I think it's on eBay, that has resin cast AB miniatures tank crews. And they're not even cheap. They're like $20 for a set of them, so it's like the same price as AB. And they're resin. They're obvious copies. Like, how do they get away with that? You know, you're literally stealing somebody's work. If I buy a set of rules, okay, let's say I bought a set of the rules for DBA, all right, and I don't need to do that because I already have a set. And I'm like, I'm going to teach this game at game conventions, but I don't want my copy destroyed. I personally have no problem photocopying the entire rule book that I paid for. Obviously not give any copies of it away, but have my own copy that gets, you know, as I'm using it to teach people how to play the game, to sell more copies for the author. I have no problem doing that because it's for your own personal use, but I'm not going to give it away. You know, whether that's legal or not, I'm telling you, I personally don't have a problem with it because it's not done with ill intent. It doesn't cost the person any more money, and I'm actually promoting the game for them, selling more things. Casting part of a sprue, it's more trouble than just buy another one. Dude, I mean, it's not like it's not made anymore, you know? Wasn't even little bits like a scabbard. He was recasting the bodies. That's too much work. And you know that guy's probably going to hand them off to somebody else. I mean, they're not that expensive. You know, it's like, why would you do that? Like, we had a problem with work before I ever worked there many, many years ago where people were stealing the tires off their vehicles. You know, it was trucks that were stealing the tires. That's more, like, go in the night, cut them off. That's more work than, like, go out and get a freaking real job. I don't know. People are always looking for angles to get around the system and stuff like that. I never have morality conflicts and stuff like that. Like, Like I said, I don't know if it's legal or not. I'm just telling you that I don't do things with the wrong intent. So I have no trouble sleeping. Well, as I said that, I couldn't sleep last night, but I never have trouble sleeping at night. You know, there's certain laws in the books that are just stupid, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to go down that road. Let's just say this country is really uptight about the drinking age. Really uptight about the drinking age. And I'm not. And you can see if you watch me, I had like two tiny sips of a drink. I rarely drink, but it's kind of part of my culture, the way I was raised, the Latin culture. And I don't necessarily have a problem if a minor that I'm the parent of has a drink with me. I don't have a problem with it, you know. Especially in this day and age when they have all kinds of things legalized that I don't necessarily agree with being legalized. So I don't necessarily agree with that. Oh, nice, it fell in there. You guys don't have that problem in Europe, so. A mate's favorite saying is, laws are for the guidance of the wise and the obedience of fools. Yeah. I mean, if laws were done away with tomorrow, I don't know that I would behave that. And if everybody kept behaving the way they are, which some people wouldn't, I wouldn't behave any differently. I don't need them, you know. I don't really need them to behave myself. I'm already set in my ways. It's not going to make a difference for me. Okay, that's just how it is. I could have cut a little notch in it, had it sit a little flusher, but looks good for me. Wish I had a little bit more detail on it, but I can paint detail on those like I did with the Panzer. You guys ever see that? That's like the one of the things I'm the most proud of. I gotta show you that. I gotta show you this. I gotta toot my own horn. It's literally, and I know there's other things that people really like that I do, and I'm not really. This is the thing that really impressed me, and I literally pulled this out of my ass. I know that's what that smell is. So I had these talking about stupid tanks that don't have any. They don't have any turret storage things. These are a pair of MMS Panzer 3Fs. One of them I got from a estate sale. One of them I had for a long time. And the estate sale one didn't have a hatch on it. And the one I got, I lost. So, what am I going to do? Well, I'm not going to make it in two pieces. So I cut a round piece of, like I took a container of like cottage cheese or something like that. And I cut out a round disc and just laid it in there and painted it like it was split. And I think it's the freaking best thing I've ever done. I floored myself with it. I just painted it like it's split, and I still I still can't believe I freaking did that. That just came out so freaking well. So that's the kind of stunt that we're gonna do on this channel for the antenna. We're gonna paint it like there's an actual channel in there. So yeah, I was. I'll find out if there's like a little more details that thing has to have, and we'll paint the top of that hatch, give it a little bit more panache. Yeah, I really like the MMS models, but man, working with white metal and the limited amount of glues that will actually work on it, I'm actually not a fan. Although I'm disappointed that they went out of business because they were one of my favorite manufacturers. Even though they're 1/76 scale, it's still okay. You know. Okay, so what do you got left on this guy to do? Well, that comes in the instructions. I should say that. That may be everything. Got that, got that. Yeah. Okay, so a couple things that we're going to do here. This is where we start getting crazy. All right. Let's get out our friend Panzer colors. We're going to use this. We're going to use some online pictures. Let's look at that. Yeah. This Panzer. Yeah, this looks good. The 3G. And I like with the smoke discharges up here by the front of the turret. It looks badass. It really does. Okay, so let's go to the D. And we got some details that we grabbed from other kits that we're going to put on there. Okay, we got the headlights. Wouldn't have known it was only painted on if I hadn't said that yet. That's the whole point. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Okay, so I didn't know that I had a couple of no-tech lights, but I did. And they're actually from the munition Panzer. I don't even know how I got this thing. I've never built one of these Thor things. But there's a no-tech light here. And there's another one here. So we're going to carefully take these off, and we're going to install them on both of them. Okay, move that off to the side. Let's make sure this doesn't go flying. What's the flag waving in the background? It is! Yes, my people. Yeah, I just picked one of these. I've had that thing for 20 years, maybe 30 years. Yep. Just a little 3x5 inch one. I actually have. When I lived alone, I had a 2-bedroom and a loft, a condominium, which is just a fancy name for an apartment you bought. And the biggest room, the loft, is the one I used as the game room. And I don't remember the dimensions of the room at the time. I remember it being really, really big. I feel like it was the whole size of Mitch's outside room, but I may be exaggerating a little bit. But regardless, I had a 10 by 8 foot table that went in there because we used to play naval war games. And I had it decorated with, on the walls, 3 foot by 5 foot flags. And I had, you know, all World War II stuff. So I had a Union Jack and an American 48 star flag and a rising sun and the crooked spider and the German World War I ensign and the Italian World War II one that has the shield on it, a French one, that may be it. And I don't know where they are. They're somewhere that if I had a flagpole, I could definitely turn some heads putting some of those up there. But I don't know what happened to them. I know I didn't get rid of them. That was the decoration that I used for War Game Room. Now we play in some place that has a bunch of Packer shit in it. Why is it that stupid among us can never admit to being stupid? I don't know. The world would be a better place if people would just admit that they don't know something when they don't. I mean, there's lots of things I don't know. I mean, I can't know everything, and there's a limited amount of time of things I'm interested in. So instead of making up an answer, that just creates more problems. All right, let's see about what size drill bit that gives. I'm in mole mode right now, which means I'm so freaking nearsighted that I've got to get my head in things to see where the hell I am. I'm like a damn mole. Okay, I think we need to go one smaller than this. I think it's this one. Yeah. Why is it that people get in arguments on the internet? There's lots of stuff I see that I don't agree with, and I'm just like, I don't need to convert anybody. I saw somebody yesterday that posted something just ridiculous, and I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to convert you. Okay, the no-tech light, it looks like here it's even with it. Let's make sure that that's the case. We have space to put it even on the outside, but let's make sure that that's consistent. It looks like it is. Okay, let's drill 2 holes, put 2 no-tech lights in. I'm actually going to put a little prick on it so it doesn't walk on me. What am I going to drill into? If I drill into the track, it's not a big deal. One of these drill bits had like 0 ass behind it. Like it just didn't want to drill into plastic. I mean, this is soft plastic as plastic goes. All right, I'm going to have to rethink this. Remember when you are dead? I won't remember. You do not know you are dead. It's only painful for others. The same applies when you're stupid. I hope that's the case. I don't think we'll ever know. You know, the thing that gets me worked up is how people are so sure about what happens on the other side of the fucking universe. Oh, this is going on 15 million light years away. What the? No, you don't have a clue. I choose not to worry about shit like that. People get shit all the time wrong. They're certainly not going to get that right. All right, nice hole drilled. What happened here? Is it too deep? Let's take that little piece of flash off. Do I like the Summer 42 to Kursk for gaming? Coop's Troop. That's a good name. So I don't do anything World War II earlier than Africa Corps. So you're talking about like April 41. I don't do anything before that because either the Germans have white crosses, stupid, or the Germans don't have the turret storage things, also stupid. I like Barbarossa 41. I don't mind 42. I don't mind 43. I just don't want to do any case blue stuff with yellow vehicles. I don't mind the yellow vehicles in 43, but I'm not going to do them early. Like, you ever seen a Czech 38 in yellow? It just looks wrong. It looks wrong on so many levels. Let's make sure that the thin part is towards the front. I'm pretty sure it's better to check than make an error that you're going to lose sleep at night over. It is. Okay. I don't know why that's catching. All right, let's just reduce the depth of this. Phil Burgess, welcome back. I generally like the time period where the Germans have more experienced crews but less powerful weapons, if that makes sense. Okay, so we got a no-tech light on there, and we'll do the same on this side. Put a pilot hole. Keep that thing from walking. Doesn't take much. And I do love the desert, especially the British vehicles. But these guys didn't have any of them in inventory. They had Valentines. I'm not a Valentine fan. That doesn't mean I won't build a Valentine. I'm just saying I'm not building any Valentines until I got some Matildas. And they didn't have any Matildas. So, otherwise I would have picked them up. I would have picked up some Matildas and Honeys and A13s in a heartbeat. But they had none of the above to use my credit on. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. El Tweezero. Okay, 2 no-tech lights. Up next, fire extinguishers. I will just go and hide my yellow 38 tanks. They look weird. Hola. Hola. That time is like more even. It is. Early T-34s, T-60s against Panzers, short 50s, and later long 50. Yeah. Yeah. I like my Germans in gray. It just looks right. It look. I don't know. I got plenty of yellow Germans. I'm just. Okay, I think that's all that we're going to pull from this set. What are these containers? Is this something we could manufacture to maybe put some spare wheels in? Maybe. They might work for jerry cans. I'm going to go ahead and pop both of them off, and we'll keep them nearby here. I think if I take some of this stuff off, jerry cans will fit in there nicely. A lot of those modifications weren't official. They just kind of rudimentary did them. I'm more likely to do this and modify. Ooh, this is really hard plastic. This Hasegawa plastic compared to what I've been working with. We'll leave them off to the side. I don't think we need anything left from this. What's this piece? I don't even know how I got this. I don't know anybody who had. That's like the one that comes with the The caramel. Maybe they came with the Hasegawa Panzer IVs. They just threw them in there. Okay. Let's make sure we put this back. And Sprulandia. This is just part of the German ones. So I sorted all that shit out this morning. All right. The fire extinguishers, which aren't great detailed. Aren't super well detailed. But they'll work. All right. Where do they go? I believe they go here, and the jack goes on the other side. Let's double check that. Fire extinguisher goes there. Correct. All right, let's go ahead and put them in. It's like everything's crowded in one place. Okay, and normally I think the small part of the fire extinguisher goes towards the front. You know, it doesn't really matter that much. I just like to do it just. This has the jack on the opposite side. And there's definitely variations to it. Okay. I'm going to put the... Let's look at it. Let's use the Google thing. 10 viewers, awesome. Thanks for coming by, folks. Panzer 4D picture. All right, let's look at, here's one. Here's 1/35th scale modeler. It looks like the smaller part is towards the front. Okay, that's what we're gonna go with. All right, it does have a peg. Is this big enough? No, we're gonna need, all right, I'm gonna use this and then just enlarge it. And we would like to have this thing sit about like that. Let me check another drawing. It looks like the whole thing is in front of the, well, it's not of that plate. That's not going to be able to happen. It just does physically doesn't fit there. And it looks like it's pretty close to the center, so we'll just center it. Okay, so, oh man, I had this right where I wanted it. That's where I want it. Well, I cleaned my floor, so it should be easy to find. Be back in a week. Yeah, this shit happens to everybody. I don't care how careful you are. Unfortunately, I have to take my contacts out to do the kind of stuff I'm doing, and in doing so, I go in extreme mole mode. Well, it's light gray. That's where we want it. I just don't want it there. I want it in the middle. So about there. It's so much easier to work with this than white metal. Did the L2475 have one of the early heat rounds? Yes. It was rare. It was rare. I suspect that the Stugs had a higher percentage of having it available than these guys did. I don't know why that is. I just have a feeling that that's the case. But they might have only had, you know, these tanks carried close to 100 rounds. I don't know exactly on these. I know the Panzer III's carried about 100. I suspect these guys probably, I don't want to look it up right now, maybe 70 rounds or something like that. They'd be lucky to have 2 heat rounds. You know, it wasn't very common at all. You know, the Germans had all kinds of logistical problems, and that was just another nightmare for them. You know, the Germans had a lot of really incompetent people in charge of supply, and they never got rid of them. You know, it wasn't like, you know, you said you were going to supply this, you know, you're going to get supplies to the Eastern Front, and you didn't. Boom! You know, they kept like the guy around. You know, thankfully they were incompetent at that. You know, you don't want them to win against I don't want the communists to win, but man, the Nazis win on the Eastern Front. That's a bad scenario for the rest of the world. You know. I need a bigger drill bit by a smidge. Tony, I had a video for you to watch a German convoy with a Puma and some half tracks rolling down a muddy road. Oh, welcome, Nordic, the one person that doesn't like the Puma. That's okay. You get points for being original. Everybody likes the Puma. It may not be everybody's favorite vehicle, but everybody likes that. That's a sexy cat. You know what I don't like about the Puma? A 2-man turret. It's stupid. It's just dumb. But it's a beautiful vehicle. As are almost all the German armored cars. And I have one, but I have them in the right proportion. I got one Puma, which is a 234-2. I have one 234-3, one 234-4, and two 234-1s to build. Didn't the SS units get their supplies first over the here? I don't know, but if you look at the counts of tanks, they didn't have any better. They didn't have any better tank selection than the regular army units. They may have gotten better supply. I am not a fan of the SS for multiple reasons. You know, it's gonna be really hard to think that there was anybody in the SS that really didn't know what was going on. That didn't know how nefarious things really were. But despite that, look at that. Fabulous. That's where she's going to go. I'm actually, before I glue that one, let's keep it in the open so you can just pinpoint this location. It's even with the front in the middle. Right there. And the SS for most of the war were just almost like not finessey. You know, it was like brute force, like there they are, and they head on attack. You know, almost like, you know, overly ballsy. Okay, we should be good on both of them. And really the only reason to do the SS is because they had some cool camouflage. But if you're fine with field gray uniforms, then why are you really doing SS? You know, it's not like they're that much. It's not like they're that exciting. Okay. I think only 150 made. Yep, they didn't make very many. Less than that. Very few. I just don't like how it looks. Not a fan of the turret, to be honest. It doesn't come in Panzer Gray. Well, that's true. Much more a fan of the early period of war where German vehicles were Panzer Gray, as you know. Yeah, me too. SS were a blunt instrument, but man, did they have some snazzy camouflage. They did. Still, they were rat bastards. Extra rat bastards. I just can't relate. They're a little too racist for my take. Like, we're going to fight the Russians because they're other people. Like, you're fighting other white people, dude. Like, a lot of them look the same. You know, it's not like they went over there to fight, the Mongoloid-looking Russians. Not that that would make it better, but I'm just saying, Nazi logic doesn't make any sense to me. I know, there's probably no such thing as Nazi logic. Okay, we got a couple shovels here and a pickaxe. We got a crank, another fire extinguisher that's small, jerry cans. Okay, let's get the... We don't need the muffler. So let's just get rid of that. That's going to go in the spare parts. What can we cut this down to? We'll keep the jerry cans. That goes in les garbage. I found a channel, supposedly, for the antenna to go on. But at this point, I only have one. So I'm just going to make the other one, for this one, the same as that one that I did with a piece of sprue. So I don't need this. I'm not going to throw it away, but it goes back in the spare parts. Working our way through. We got some other jerry cans. We got the ones from Rodin, which are one piece. That's nice. Two of those. We got the spare road wheels. I might as well cut those off and glue them back to back. Let's go ahead and pull these guys out. I mean, this plastic looks almost exactly like the Eschi figures I have that are, the soft plastic. So when I got this, I'm like, there's no way this is going to glue together. It just has too much, rubberish, lubrication type properties to it. It's just not going to work. What do I know? Anyone know why they're called jerry cans? Well, Germans just call them gas cans, but I believe the English called them jerry cans because the Jerry's had them. I think that's the story. There may be more to it. I always thought that's what the story was. Okay, we have special use for this. I'm not stealing my own thunder, but I have an idea. And here is the other 4. I honestly don't know why the Brits called the Germans Jerry's. It's not that close. I would call them something else. Huns doesn't work either. I mean, the Germans look the same as British. Okay. She got the jack. There's one of them. Here's the other. Let's put these road wheels together, and then we'll mess with the jacks. And I bet if I could search, I could find even more than these. Nothing more dangerous than Tony with an idea. Yeah, it might be fulfilled. I'm really enjoying the living shit out of these 2 Panzer IVs. This is some empowering shit right here. Let's just put them on top of them. No need to have one piece inside the other one. It's just 2 flat spots that just glue together. Done. And I have lots of Panzer III parts. Between the Plastic Soldier Company stuff and that model, I got a lot of Panzer IIIs, so. But we're not working on them right now. We're working on this guy who needs more help than any of the Panzer IIIs I have to look more presentable. Hey man, it's the whole point of this hobby is to enjoy ourselves. Yeah, I went out and had lunch with my mom, and I was talking to her about, freaking hobby. You guys coming on, keeping me on track. There was a guy that was and we came across a guy that was panhandling, and he had this sign like, I guess there's a panhandling problem everywhere. But we don't really live in a huge metropolitan area, so I'm not really sure why there's a problem here. But he's like, he had this sign that said, "I'm in dire help," or something like that. And the guy had a sign, and he had a major case of the jitters. Major, like really, really bad. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of drugs that guy's on, but he's not getting any right now. I said, I don't need drugs. I got my hobby. And I mean, seriously, I don't need to go to the shrink because I have this. And it's not gaming. Gaming is fun, but gaming for me doesn't make me feel better when you're not doing it anymore. Whenever I sign off, I'm going to feel great because I got something accomplished. and I'm having fun while I'm doing it as well. And you guys are a big part of that. I wouldn't be enjoying myself if I'm just sitting here, listening to a book on Audible or something like that. This is a lot more interactive, keeps me on track a lot more, even if it's kind of limited. It's like, hey, I don't need to be on medication. I got this. I mean, I mean that kind of in jest because, we need some. It's a great stress relief, and it's a wonderful hobby. So we got two jacks. I believe they go over on this side. We're gonna check the drawings, check the pictures. They do, and the bigger part goes towards the forward. Okay. Goes in this zone here. They don't have a locating peg, and there's no detail on one side of them. All right, let's see which way the crankshaft is. I believe they should be almost sitting vertical, which is kind of impractical. I mean, I could look at pictures on the internet, but for this, I don't need to. For other ideas, yes, yep, it's vertical. That's unfortunate. Okay, is there enough surface area that this thing can? It's gonna have to sit like this. Let's get the tweezers. This goes towards the front. It's gonna sit something like, I don't know, that just doesn't sit worth a damn. I think I'm gonna make an executive decision, and I'm gonna put it like this. That's what I'm going to do. Happy to be of service. I come here for the banter and the fact you love World War II as much as I really do. I'm glad I'm back in it, man. And I don't regret stepping away for 20 years. So World War II got so much more interesting the 20 years I stepped away. We have access to so many things we didn't have before. Have I ever had the rubbery plastic that the primer... Okay. Have I ever had the rubbery plastic that the primer and the paint don't stick and flake off? If you're talking about like soft plastic figures, I'm scared to death of it. When I was a kid, I used to think you used enamel paints, but what I didn't realize is you can't use enamel paints on stuff that flexes because then it'll flake off. I have painted some plastic figures recently, and I used acrylic paint. The secret is you have to seal them with acrylic also. And they're some Soviet tank crew guys, and they actually turned out okay, and they're pretty bendy, and thank goodness they haven't misbehaved yet. But yeah, I'm not a fan. When it comes to figures, I definitely prefer white metal. When it comes to vehicles, I definitely prefer plastic. Because this is so much more pleasant putting this on and drilling holes, and you're not having to put so much horsepower behind it that you end up breaking something to break through the break through it. But I don't have a lot of experience painting the plastic figures, and honestly, I'm pretty scared of it because I don't want to spend a couple hours painting the figure and then it flakes off, and I'm like, like, where'd all that effort go that I spent on it? So I do have it in the back of my mind. I do have some. I'm not really an expert on it. I've done it so little, but I haven't really come to grips, and I'm not super comfortable with it yet. And you know the white metal figures, the paint's not going to flake off. You know, washed it, but you still did it. Well, all plastics are different. Some of them just have too much petroleum stuff in it that just it just misbehaves. You know, you're having to fight that all the time. So now we got a couple jacks, a couple fire extinguisher, no tech lights. I got to use little boy's room. I'll be right back. I'm always drinking too many fluids. You have to wash those kinds of plastic and dish soap in warm water. PVC dip. Yeah, the softest figures I have, and these jokers are soft, and I haven't painted them yet, are a company called Audemars, I believe is what they are. And they had this German general set. I don't know why they don't make generals for other countries, but it's like, oh, the Nazis get all the cool stuff and nobody else does. And these are, you know, character packs. Like you've got, let's see, this guy's Sepp Dietrich, and I took the Manstein figure off. Here's Rommel. Yeah, Rommel's supposed to be this guy here. And couple different guys. These guys are extremely bendy. I mean, they bend at the ankles. So I don't know how durable this is going to be. Here's Hauser with a freaking eye patch. You know, I haven't painted the Manstein figure yet. And the reason I'm going to paint him is like an assassination mission. Go take his ass out or something. Okay, right back. PVA. I haven't messed with it a whole lot. The problem with PVA that I would have with it is it reactivates. And I use water-based paints, and I just don't know. I mean, best of luck with it to you, but I just don't have enough experience with it. I mean, the plastic figures I did paint, they turned out pretty good. Let me go grab the Soviet crewman. I didn't put tufts on the ground on them, but I think I got 3 of them painted. At least 2. Let's see where they're at. Here's one of them. Here's another one. Here's the third one. And I have a lot more to do. I don't feel like painting figures. I'm gonna do vehicles. These guys are already on magnets. It's like one guy's base isn't complete. Let's see, can I? All right, good. We can do that here. Let's find the camera. A little too zoomed in. They're actually decent looking figures. And these guys are not going to have names on them because they're not a factor until the tank gets knocked out. So, and these I just use the Vallejo polyurethane primer. And I'm trying not to bend them. I don't want to stress test it and, you know, and waste my time on the work that I did on it. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, good. All right. All right, so let's take a look at this piece here. Because I could attach that here once I trim this up, but I have to take the center supports off. So let's just try it. This is just a piece of extra plastic. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I don't want these center dividers in it. A lot of this stuff became a lot easier to do for me once I had to take my contacts out to do this. Because I'd always done stuff in 20/20 vision, you know, corrected because I'm nearsighted. But then it's like, I can either use readers or just take my damn contacts out. I got a built-in 6.5. Weird using this plastic that's so damn hard. Okay. And now we'll go across the top with this. This should work okay. Let's have this do the hard work. Yes, I bought some value gear for somebody. The problem is it's $20 a pop, and you know it costs more than the kits. So, what did I buy it for? I bought it for something, and I was really happy with it. Oh, my Shermans. Yeah. Yeah, and what's the other one? Red Dog. I haven't bought Red Dog. I bought the value gear stuff. Do I know any good chance, any resource for Barbarossa that will give numbers of vehicles and tanks per units during the invasion? What kind of detail do you want? Yes. Shit, I can do a whole show on that. That's the kind of shit I like right there. Not on the Soviet side. But for the Germans, yeah, you could tell how many tanks are in each Panzer division when they invaded, and you can extrapolate, you know, what type they are. You know, yeah, what specifically do you need? I love that kind of shit. I love that kind of stuff. That's one of those things where the wargamer and the modeler like cross paths. Like, for instance, I have 2 Panzer III Fs that I showed you guys earlier, okay? Armed with 37 millimeter guns. They did use some of those in Barbarossa, even though they were, already obsolete by that time. So what I wanted to find out is, what panzer divisions could they potentially have been in? So there's a source that I found that tells you by panzer division how many tanks it had, how many of them were 75 millimeter armed, how many were 50 millimeter armed, how many were 37 millimeter armed. It's real easy to find out which units had Czech 38 and 35 tanks in the invasion of Barbarossa. There's only one panzer division, the 6th, that had Czech 35s, a 37 millimeter armed tank, and 3 or 4, I forget which one of the two it is, the 8th being one of them, I think the 20th is another one, that had the Czech 38s, also 37 millimeter gun tanks. Those divisions did not have Panzer IIIs in them of any kind, armed with either gun, either a 50 millimeter or a 37. They did have these type of tanks. They did have Panzer IVs, Ds, and Es in the support role in that 4th company, the 4th and the 8th company, normally. It might have changed a little bit because some of those panzer divisions were a little overstrength when they invaded, and they might have actually been like in the 5th and the 10th company. But regardless, one company out of the battalion of the 3 or 4 companies would have been armed with Panzer IVs. They normally have 20 in them instead of closer to 40. Again, these are kind of general rules. See, I went down a rabbit hole. Hey, I love talking about this shit. So it's easy to isolate which tanks had Czech armed tanks that were 37 millimeter armed. And all the other divisions, according to this, that had 37 millimeter armed German tanks, they had to be Panzer IIIs with 37 millimeter guns. So then I was like, okay, the 11th had some, and then also tells you which ones had Panzer Is in them, which ones had Panzer IIs. No way to find out which Panzer IIs, whether they were Bs that were converted, or D or Cs, or the new Fs, which were new at that time. But you can extrapolate some stuff like that. Wound up reading for 3 hours after I left last night. Managed to finish my book. Excellent. I want detail that I can use with command decision, especially for the Germans. I have the Soviet stuff, but not the Germans. I need that kind of detail to properly build lists for command decision. Can you link me to the source if it's an online source? Yes, I will do that after I sign on. It's actually a Wikipedia source, believe it or not. There's a lot of really good stuff on Wikipedia. There's a lot of garbage too, but there's a lot of really good stuff on Wikipedia. I'll look for that. Yeah, command decision. Man, I still got that in my brain. That's what I call all these tanks. I call them by their command decision name. The tanks, I call them. That's what. It's a 37L45. I'm sorry, 46. Right? The Pak 36 is a 46 caliber? I think so. Okay, now we have this little attachment that we can put on the side here, and we can drop some jerry cans inside there. Now these actually have little buckles on them, so we may not want to use those. We might want to use the ones that do not have any buckles, but they're 2-part. But let's go ahead and trim them all out. And I have more jerry cans, but they're the ones from Plastic Soldier Company. I figured I'd use all these odds and ends ones here. Where's the other black ones? Here. You doing anything around the Battle of Voronezh in 42? If so, there's a translation of a bunch of original documents in the manual for a DLC for one of the Gravitine games. I don't think that I'm doing anything specific to any particular place. I know I'm not planning on doing tanks specific for Stalingrad. I'm not a Stalingrad fan. So, are they making a 1942 version for the Gravitine thing? You know, after playing Rapid Fire and Flames of War, Command Decision's so much better. It really is. It has its problems, okay, but it doesn't have any problem that if you wanted to create your own house rules for it would fix it. And really, the problems it has is those other games have just one side just sitting around while the other side blasts them. They just, you know, not a fan of either one of them. At least Rapid Fire you can use the scenarios because it's the same scale of the game that Command Decision is. But I don't want to play a game with tanks that uses a D6, a single D6. That's just wrong. That just rubs me the wrong way. The Soviet units in 41 are a lot more interesting than later on. Because they just have like a mishmash of heavy stuff. And, you know, impractical, but from a gaming standpoint, cool. Okay, is this all the jerry cans that we have that aren't Plastic Soldier Company? Yes, and this is a plenty. Have I tried Battle Group? I have not, but I've looked at the cards for it, and you know, I wouldn't mind playing it. I'm just not using I'm not putting this kind of effort on it and not have a game that rewards the kind of detail that I'm adding. Oh, this is interesting. It has, I guess it has the strap on the front. Ooh. This is an interesting situation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to put the ones with the strap on one side and the ones without the strap on the other. Got it. Let's just put these two halves together. You know, I don't really poo-poo other rule sets. If you like playing them, play them. Just don't force me to play them. You know, and I'll try anything once, and after once, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't simulate what I want to simulate. And I'm doing all these vehicles, but they're not gonna be on the board all at the same time. And there's games probably I would like less than those two that I mentioned. No, I'm not necessarily someone that they don't make rules for somebody as anal retentive as I am. You know, I'm fine with games being generic when we're talking about DBA, but not World War II, my friend. And like I said, we're not going to be able to completely finish building these because I'm going to get some spare parts from the Brumbar and the Hummel. I'll guarantee there's spare parts in those. But these guys are going to be well on their way to looking sweet. Like I said, the one game that I've played and it's almost there. I think that I could probably modify it and be happy with it is Chain of Command. Chain of Command is almost where I want it to be. You know, you just have to do randomize like who gets killed in the squad a little bit more and change the vehicle combat so it's a little bit more flavorful. But it's close. It's really, really close to where I would want it to be. The download contact for the Myas front one, they have downloads spanning 41 near Leningrad, all over 43. I'm tossing up which download to get. You know, the nice thing about playing something as tactical as this is, and when I'm talking about tactical is, I'm playing an actual scale. So, you know, these vehicles would be 10 meters from each other kind of thing. You know, you can run over people. That's just what I want to simulate, a movie, you know. The nice thing about this is it doesn't really, you know, the observation stuff is... The problem with observation is you as a player see it, but then somehow you have to react or you have to blindfold the players to some degree or another so that they don't react to things that they wouldn't be privy to. And anyhow. Okay, so we got some wheels. We got these guys. We got tools. We got to put antennas on these guys. And we need to put the channel here. That Jared talked me into doing. I'm glad he did. I believe it's this piece. I'm keeping all this sprue, man. I can this is so easy to work with. I believe it was this one. Let's chamfer just a little bit. Yep. All right, let's cut it to the same. Let's cut this flush. Just take a smidge off this side. We should be good to go. And we will paint this like it has a channel in it. Yep. You'd like to see someone come out with a narrative-driven World War II miniatures game. That's what I'm planning on doing. But I didn't come out with it. It's not my rules, so. But right now, we're just building models. We're not going to use all this shit at once. A little bit higher than the top of that thing. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. tweezers need an award named after them. Okay. All right, so we got some tools here. Gun cleaning thing. I need a gun cleaning thing for the other one. So we've got 2 there. Let's go look at some drawings. They're going to sit over on this side over here. Okay, it sits on a little hook. Spare wheels when they go back here. But that's on an F. Let me see a D or even an E. Oh, this is weird. I gotta show you this. I've never seen this before. Look at this picture of an E. And look where the Balkenkreuz is. This one right here. Well, let's put my finger on it and then show you. I've never seen this ever. It's got the cross on the front of the turret on a short barrel Panzer IV. I've never seen that before. Looks wrong. I wouldn't do it. Okay, that's got spare armor in the front. But that's an E. Let's go to a D. Although the stuff could work for either one of them. There's a gun cleaning kit. Ooh, that's what I found. Where does that go? I found one of those little steps. Because I built a D before. Back when the Tamiya kit. Okay, it goes at the beginning of the louver on this side. So let's see what I have. I think I found one of the spares. I hope I didn't send it away. I might have. Well, oh, and here's an actual one from the Hasegawa. Okay, we'll cut that one out. So we'll use one of these for spare wheels, and we'll use the other one for jerry cans. That's how they'll be different. Okay? And these are made in the field anyway, so the fact that they're different is actually all right. We might just need to add some tools and gun cleaning kits afterwards. So judging by the width of this, which one of these is actually wider? That one's significantly less wide. So this one gets the jerry cans. Do both of these wheels fit inside here? If they do, I'm going to holler. You've been warned. Woo! Yeah! Nice! Freaking awesome. So one's going to have that. The other one's going to have this other one with jerry cans there. Hot damn. And may still have spare tires somewhere else. Nice. Oh, that's just freaking stellar. Now, it's just going to bump into this as we go around. It is. Okay, that's not a huge... Except we need to reduce this a little bit in height. We could sand that down. Someone came out to me, that's probably exactly why I do it. Everyone who saw it would say it's wrong, and then you can pull the photo from the archive. Dude, this is a great day. This is a great freaking day. We're just winging shit, you know? Scared your dog, you're listening through your headphones. Let's find that damn step. I'm pretty sure it's part of this stuff that came in with this. Yeah. Yep. It's here, and another one's here. I'm telling you, these little bastards are going to look freaking great. The bad news, luckily I have stuff to do 2 of them. If I had a third one, I wouldn't know what to do. God, I wish this plastic wasn't so damn brittle. There's one. This almost looks like a pallet. Oh, don't go down that slippery slope. Don't go down that slippery slope. They don't both have to have this step, but it does add a little bit of something. All right, let's put these guys back. Oh, don't be misbehaving. Wow, this Hasegawa plastic sucks after working with this Armor Fast stuff. All right, now, it has a little bit of a ledge. Instinctively, I would put it like this so it has something to catch on, and it goes right here. That's my instinct to do it that way. Let me consult the pictures and see if that makes sense. Take that little bit of a ridge off. Let's look at that step. It's going to be even with the line. Okay, it's just in front of the top front idler wheel. Yep. Oh, I got to be careful. That might be in the way of the spare thing. Oh, we could scooch it forward. Yeah, it's in front of the louvers. It's in front of the louvers. And it's only on the left side. I remember putting it on my Tamiya one. And you had such little hope for this kit, yeah. Well, I'm not even close to being the best at doing this shit. I'm definitely a hand painting Russian slogan wizard. That I have a lot of confidence in, but I guess I should have a lot of confidence in this shit too, because it's not my first rodeo. Yeah, this is gonna fit right here, just like this. We're gonna put it on both of them. Let's go ahead and take this thing out. It's so nice to be working on stuff and not have a timetable. Oh, I gotta get these done by next set. F that. Those days are over. I'm never going back to that. They can blow me. Actually, no, they can't. You don't get any of that either. No fun for you. I cogitated about getting these things. Luckily, I got lots of spare parts. I would have been able to make other stuff work even if I had half as many. Okay. The nice thing is they're different colors, so you can see where I added stuff. Okay. How many jerry cans will it fit? Will this one fit? We know that one works, and we need to take this down a little bit. Well, we need the bottom of being flat. I don't mind taking off some off the top. All right, let's just pretend this is going to be the one. I can change the turrets out later, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and pull this little guy off. These are all like made in the field and shit like that, so they're some guy just decided to go crazy welding shit. Well, do I want it to stick up? I kind of don't. So I'm going to chop the tops of them off. Yep. Yep, that's where she goes. do the verticals. Damn me. It's always nice to have a little hope for a project, and then it turns out to be a fun and awesome project. Feel like you should name these live streams the joy of model building. Well, you know, you just shouldn't give up. Sometimes you just got to power through shit. And I've fortunately been able to power through quite a few things on here. I'm not going to holler if this side is... I'm out of holler if this side fits in there. So your dog could come running back. He's hiding somewhere under the... Let's try this one. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was going to be too big of an ask for that to fit in there. These guys are going to be too fat also, right? Yes, okay. Are we close? Not really. And the Plastic Soldier Company ones are even bigger. Well, we don't have to use this. So let's punt on that. Let me try something else. Something related a little differently. This might be a fool's errand. But we're going to give it a shot. I've got nothing to lose. And if I pull this off, it's going to generate another holler. Sorry, you've been warned. Man, my neck aches back, man. Something's out of plumb. We're going to keep this one close by, but we want an uber sharp one for this. This is not, what I'm about to do is, I don't think is very necessary, but I thought about this and I'm like, shit, if I can pull this off and make the pistol ports in the back. I mean, they're already perfectly round. We just need to cut these as thin as I can. But not that thin. It may end up being too big of an ask. I think that's going to be too thick. Let's see what it looks like in place. I don't know, it might actually work. Your dog's hoping it doesn't work out. Nah, I'm not going to holler. It's the thought that counts. Okay, that's good, but I want to use the thinner one. I want to use the smaller diameter one. We can pull this shit off. We want to use this one. We want to use these. Let's go ahead and use... Feel like I'm working at the deli. Pause clothing. Make your own with plastic hard, but then I got to cut it round. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't want to cut the round part's the problem. I'd rather be able to slice this. I can control the slicing. Let's cut that off. Okay. Let's cut this off. Let's cut this off. Okay, so now, and it's actually square there, it'll lay on the ground without rotating on me. Ha ha! That one doesn't count. Now, how thin do you want your bologna sliced? Not that thin. All I need is 4 good ones. Too thin. Even this out. There's one good one. Nope. False start. Let's get us even. I'm sure I can get 4 good ones out of it. There's the second one. Don't make the freaking model accurate enough. Bozos. Oh, I didn't mean to put. No, that one's no bueno. I think we can make that one work. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't need anything else cut off me. Thank you. Let's make sure we get the correct placement. The ease is actually conical. I would have had to use like a little bit of the modeling putty for that. Okay, the bottoms of them are about even with the bottom of the. Well, I got no way to freaking check that. Okay, the bottoms with them are even with the center line of the vertical center line. All right, this is definitely a job for. Let's pull this thing off. It's definitely going to be one of those models. It's hands off. You can't touch it. I'll move the vehicle for you. Okay, let's take some of this off. How about them freaking apples? Holy snap. Look at that. That'd be nice if it focused. This light is too bright, damn it. God, it's so bright. We need to add more. Still too bright. Yeah, it doesn't like Panzer yellow either. Yep. Wow. Is this the part where I say, suck it, Plasmo? No, those guys, that guy and Night Shift are freaking wizards. Those guys are wizards. All right. Excellent. Excellent, 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 excellent. Slicing bologna. This sprue is amazing. I'm keeping all this armor fast. I should buy more armor fast stuff just for this awesome sprue. They made the model accurate enough you wouldn't be having fun having what you're doing. Well, I'd already be painting it. All right. Tools. Yeah, Night Shift and both of those guys are for Eastern Europe too. They might both be Serbians or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's the same guy. They both have that accent. They're both very, very good. Very, very good. And just like them, I'm sure there's lots of other guys that are really good. I'm just not familiar with them. But their stuff's too detailed. I mean, their stuff looks too good. I mean, it like at 3 feet away, it would all be a blur. It looks too realistic. It looks more realistic than a real vehicle. What's this? This is the Cruise. Okay, we're not worried about them right now. Okay, so we don't know what to do about the jerry cans just yet. I'm not too worried about that. I'm sure I'm going to encounter other things that I could use for the part of them. What do we got? We got 2 shovels. We got 1 crank. We got 1 gun cleaning kit. Which honestly, the area is not big enough really to put either one of them there. Honestly, now the thing that I did underneath it for the deflector looks like crap compared to the stuff that I just pulled out of nowhere. Night Shift is Polish? Okay. Yeah. The other guy, Plasmo, is... one of the guys is Serbian. Both of those guys are really, really good. So... One of them was... I remember one of them, I was watching a video and they were concerned about how they were going to do figures. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't do figures? You can do vehicles, but you can't do figures? Figures are easier. But maybe if you're not used to them. Okay, this is the one I started working on. Let's make sure we don't shift this out of place. We want these holes drilled in exactly the same place that they were on this other one. This is not the drill we use. This is not the drill you're looking for. Oh, well, I guess it can't go on that side. Okay, one of them is just inside of this. And if I end up not liking how this looks, I'll just fill them in. Right there. And the other one is directly underneath the machine gun. That is the hole I used, isn't it? Yes. I'm not pulling every drill bit out, just certain ones, so shouldn't be that confusing. Perfect. See if these look equivalent. Of course, we're going to epoxy this in. And nice hole that got drilled in there. We'll glue that to the bottom of there to keep it steady. Damn it, man. Okay, that one goes all the way to the end. This one just goes to that one break, which I actually like how it looks better. I like how this looks better than this. So I'm going to cut these legs off a little bit. ¿Dónde está? Not using that. That's a good way to ruin that. Here we go. This thing is probably something, this is probably older than me. Cover your eyes just to be safe. Close your eyes. Oh, let's check for fitment. Okay, it's even with that. It's still a little too long, so they would be equal. I'm not going to add the other prong that goes vertical. That's a detail too far. If I was making this out of sprue, but okay, they're equivalent now. Yeah, well, the painting part, that's the part I know I can handle. That's the one I got lots of experience doing. Yeah, they're good. They're going to look stellar. And then they'll run into one T-34 and go like, "Bah!" You know, they can't do jack shit to the T-34. All right, time to get our friend out here, Mr. Epoxy. And mix epoxy of unusually small size. And I'm not mixing it on that thing. That's just asking for a problem. And where is my mix it thing? Nope. Needles work great for this. Because if you have any extra epoxy left over, scrape it off. And this thing's already been sanded down, filed down. Two and a half hours. Yeah, this is not a fast process by any stretch of the imagination. But it doesn't have to be. And we haven't even added extra track and shit. What's going to be really cool is almost all the other pieces I think are a different color. So you're going to be able to say, hey, these are all the extra things that it'll make a good Facebook post. Let's get this down to almost nothing. Fill that hole full of goo. Yes, have fun with it, Nordic. And I really want to glue it up against it, but I don't think I'm going to, because it's just going to create a mess. So we're going to let this be like so. Figured you would appreciate that. You're killing me, Smalls. That's right. My daughter loved that movie. I liked that movie too. I probably saw it when I was, I don't know, 20, 21, something like that when it came out. I'm not a fan of sports movies, but I guess that one doesn't really count. That's more like a coming of age movie. You build tanks like a girl. Yeah, I don't want to put a goop there. Okay. That's good enough for me. All right, let's look at where some of these other tools go. surprised. I'm surprised I didn't have any extra gun cleaning things. But well, here's a thought. Are some included in the Panzer III? God, the tracks on this thing are gorgeous. On this UM Panzer III, just absolutely gorgeous. But I'm not putting extra Panzer III tracks on a Panzer IV. I just doesn't, nothing good can come from that. Look at the detail on this thing. Ah, frickin' no focus and mother. Here we go. Look at the detail on that. Oh, and it's not just on one side. It's on the other side, too. As soon as I could find it. Look at that. Amazing. No. All right, well, we may just skip the gun cleaning stuff. I'm sure I'll come across some of it. It just adds a little something in a on a part of the tank where there's not a whole lot of detail. So that's kind of a win-win. You're killing me, Smolsky. All right. So, let's look at some online pictures. Oh, and I'm here. Crap, I gotta go pee again. All right, I'll be right back. Probably going to raid the Brumbar and the Hummel for tracks because that track's kind of lame. I actually think that's part of the Stug. I probably shouldn't even be using that one. I want to say this is part of. I had a Hummel that kind of fell apart, so this could potentially be the right track, but we know where that's going to be, so we can put tools around that. It's not really going to be in the way. Because it's not like I'm going to put the tools where the tracker is going to go. So we know on this side, this is where the gun cleaning stuff is normally. So we're not worried about that. I don't have that big wrench. I don't have one of those. I've seen a picture of a shovel behind this channel, but since we took that in a certain direction, we can't really do the shovel there. I've also seen a shovel over here on the hole there. I don't have bolt cutters. Otherwise, bolt cutters could lay on here as well. It's empty in a lot of places. Here's one that has a gun cleaning kit up there. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Let's bring this back up. And so, Russia, you kill Smalls, comrade. Of course, it's the land of Bizarro. Everything's backwards, back-asswards. I'm gonna leave that be. Yeah, I don't want a little goop there. What are we looking at? Yeah. They're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. All right, I'm going to leave this tool set. I'm going to put these in a plastic baggie. And I'm going to put this as well. Don't know why I'm going to need to slice some more salami for that. And let me take a look at what kits are on the table. build either one of these right now. I'm probably still going to do an unboxing on it. But the Hummel isn't really closed. Just saying. Yellowy decals, of course, they're older than shit. Let's see what other stuff we have. Okay. So now I can tell that this piece is actually from my Hummel. So this is a legit Panzer IV. Well, it's an Eschi Panzer IV spare armor thing. Okay. Well, that makes me feel good about using it. What's my favorite self-propelled gun? Do tank destroyers count? Open top things like this? Or just self-propelled artillery? Tank destroyers really aren't self-propelled guns. I mean, I tell the difference between them. I don't know. I don't really have favorite... I have a favorite plane. It's the Stuka. Just because it looks wicked. It's certainly not the best plane out there. But as far as tanks, I just have a lot of favorites. I like the Nashorn, and I didn't get one. It just looks sleek. Look at the wire that's molded on here, on the front of this. It's like barely even just artillery. Well, what are we limited to? Su-70, so the Soviets, what do we have? Su-76s. Technically, an Su-152 would be a self-propelled gun. That one would be. The Su-85s, Su-100s aren't. I would call them tank destroyers. So you don't have a whole lot of options for the. You don't have a lot of options for the Soviets. The British, what do you got? The Bishop, Lend-Lease stuff that they used. Even something like the Archer would be a tank destroyer. I don't know that I have one. I guess the best looking one's probably the Hummel. This is probably the best looking one. Most German things are attractive looking. Is there any gun cleaning kits here? No. Separate barrel. It's two-piece barrel. There's no gun cleaning kits on this thing at all. So we're going to leave this. And this is exactly the same model that I put together earlier in my youth, except it had separate link tracks. We've got an extra jack there. We don't need it. Okay, we'll put this thing away. Nothing uber exciting here. It's a good-looking vehicle, though. I like the German 150 millimeter guns, like the field pieces. I think that's an attractive piece. You like the Nashorn, but it doesn't come in Panzer gray. I think you can get away with. You might be able to get away with doing a Hummel in gray. Maybe. I guess we need to take the broom bar. We'll still do a proper unboxing. Look at this thing. Put your own packaging on there. Looking for the X-Acto knife. I'm going to have to do Zimmer it on this thing. Kind of disappointed like Jagdtiger has Zimmer it on it, because it must have been an early Jagdtiger. Because when those really started to roll, well, they never really started to roll out, but in late 44, really late 44, they weren't doing Zimrit anymore. Oh, well, this is interesting. This is very interesting. They've got tracks here. So this is supposed to be a new model. It looks like somebody painted this already. Or maybe I don't know what's going on with this. Look at the finish. Or it's got mold on it. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine, but... Yeah, it looks like somebody started painting and, oh, let's sell it back to them. It'll be fine. What kind of extra parts do we have on here? Lots of not separate link tracks. Okay, we've got a wrench. That's good. We've got separate tracks. Of course, this thing may need the wrench itself. There's no point in cannibalizing it for the purpose of somebody else. A jack. A couple of pieces of track. It's going to need those. No instructions? No instructions. Wow. Not a complete kit. Well, I got Scalemates. You can go on Scalemates, and decals seem to be all right. So, not a new kit. Aha! Do I have any self-propelled anti-aircraft guns? I don't. So, this would be a problem if the wrong person would have bought this. Because, oh, there's no instructions I can put together. No, not a problem. Nice detail on the back of the Schertzen. That's unusual. Oh, this has the hull. It's 3 pieces. Look at this. You got a hull and these 2 plates that stick on the side. Oh, these are motherfuckers for people that are noobs. Oh, I hated those things when I was a kid. I do not have any self-propelled... That's not true. I got one. It's 1/87th scale. Okay, so this wasn't very useful to find out any extra parts. So we're probably going to go it alone then. Get your ass back in here. An unofficial unboxing. Shh, never happened. Yeah, that's the only ones that have their base on the Panzer IV, so we're going to have to go it alone on the rest of this stuff. That's why I wanted to do that. There's no point in putting this thing off for several months. Now, I actually have a Hummel half-built floating around here. I bet I probably should find it. And I built this thing a long time ago. That's what we're going to do. We're going to find that because we're going to use it for spare parts. Oh boy. Let's see which container these in. do have the self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. Want to see it? Of course you do. I'm still going to repaint it. It's in Panzer gray. Try to keep your pants on. Yeah, baby. It's one of those pre-built things. That's not it. And some Soviet shovels. I'm not going there. You want to get sent to. You don't want to get sent to a camp for using a communist shovel. What's in here? Here she is. I don't know what's salvageable on it. And this ugly ass vehicle. God, this thing is ugly. Freaking almost lime green. That doesn't fall down in the middle of the night. Okay. Very much left of this thing. But this one's separate link track, which means now we got lots of extra track. Hey, look at that. Dun, 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 dun. Including this running gear. See, look, I had just gave it a winter whitewash. Oh, it comes in gray. I don't have to paint it. I don't know where the hull is. Yeah, this is the Eschi Hummel. I probably got that in close to 1989 or something like that. Yeah, that's a silly ass car, isn't it? Okay, now this side looks like crap, but this side looks okay. We can work with this stuff. We don't have the front of the, no. What made me stop doing World War II anyways? Just overwhelmed with not having a local player that did it. Building stuff for both sides. It's a good thing I stopped doing it. Oh, you're going to be all limp dick about this? Get your ass on up there. That one stayed in place. Why are you so difficult? I'd send you to the Russian front, but you're already there. Well, the bad news is... there's no bad news, just opportunities. We're not going to mess with that anymore. We're not going to mess with that anymore. It's not the best track. It's not the worst. Now, all I need is some thin strip stuff to put on this side and use it as holders. And I don't own any. I don't own any. Well, we're going to put these two guys here. This stuff here. We'll have to get some evergreen stock at Hobby Lobby. I'm not going to rush to get there, and they're only open in about half an hour more. That can be very troubling. I was born difficult. I don't feel like rushing to Hobby Lobby. I already showered and I set one foot outside and it just turns into a nasty out there. So yeah, this is probably as far as we're going to be able to go with these guys today. That's as far as we're going to go with them. We got extra parts. We got lots of track to put on there. We're not going to go crazy, but you know, we'll put some on the front on both of them, and then maybe on one of them we'll have up here, and the other one will have it on, and the other one will have it on top of the turret or something, just to make them kind of different. And antennas, we're not going to glue the antennas on just yet. So yeah, these guys turned out pretty well. It's 7:25. And my neck ache is back. I'm gonna go change my posture. I'm gonna put away some clothes and stuff. And I may be back on tonight. If not, I will be back on in the morning to work on something else. And but yeah, this was pretty productive. So anyways, thanks for stopping by, folks.